I want to talk to you today about what it means to dehumanize another person. So, first, I'll start out with the definition that I get when I search Google. And that definition is dehumanizing refers to the process or act of depriving a person or group of their individuality, dignity, or human qualities. It involves treating or perceiving individuals as less than human, such as animals or machines, therefore stripping them of basic empathy and morals. And when I look up that definition, it then leads me to ask, so what does it mean to be human? And again, we're going to go back to Google. And when I go to Google and ask, what does it mean to be human? It tells me that being human is a multifaceted experience that bridges biology, philosophy, and emotion. Beyond our physical makeup as Homo sapiens, it means experiencing self awareness, deep emotional complexity, and a conscious search for meaning. So, those are really nice definitions, but I want to give you my definitions for what it means to be human and for what it means to be dehumanized. To be dehumanized means that you have had experiences that have been consistent, meaning they were ongoing for an extended period of time, for months, years, decades, and in some cases, centuries. And I know that sounds unbelievable to some of you. So, you've had these experiences that have gone on for an extended period of time, and these experiences have conditioned you as a human being to not be able to experience your emotions and the feelings that are produced from your emotions. So when you're out in the world, or maybe you're just at home and you have an experience with something or somebody, you go outside and maybe it's raining. And when the rain hits your skin, there's an emotion that's created on the inside. And as a result of that emotion, it produces a feeling, which is your mind creating a description of why you're feeling that emotion. So you go outside, it starts raining, the water is hitting your skin, your clothing. It's like, ooh, I'm getting wet. And then there's a feeling that is also produced as a result of that emotional response that your body is having to being outside, and now the rain is hitting your skin. And maybe you'll feel peace. Maybe you'll feel disappointed. Maybe you'll feel frustrated. Whatever you feel, it's okay, but there will be an emotional response, and you will also have feelings that are produced from that emotional response. And to dehumanize somebody means that they have endured physical pain for an extended period of time that has disconnected them from their ability to be in healthy relationship with their feelings and emotions, meaning they are having experiences and they are so afraid, so angry, so filled with rage. Maybe they are having experiences where they're not able to eat consistently, or where they are extremely tired and they're being forced to stay awake for extended periods of times, or maybe they're not being able to get liquids, water to hydrate their body. And these experiences create physical pain, so much so that it robs you of your ability to feel the emotional pain, the anger, the rage, the frustration as a result of being treated so poorly. So to dehumanize somebody means that you have essentially created an environment, circumstances, conditions that are ongoing, that are so cruel, so so painful, that a person or a group of people are essentially being stripped of being in healthy relationship with their feelings and emotions. And I say this in all of my content because I know it to be true. Your feelings and emotions are tools for direction, protection, and connection. And when you are not in healthy relationship with your feelings and emotions, it robs you of your ability to form healthy connections. It robs you of your ability to go in the right direction. And it robs you of your ability to effectively protect yourself from certain places and or things. And it's so important that you are connected to your feelings and emotions because they are a necessary part of the human experience. And now that I've given you the definition of what it means to be dehumanized, I want to explain to you what it is that the definition for being a human. And again, the first two definitions were what I found on Google. And I just gave you my definition of what it means to be dehumanized. And now I want to give you my definition of what it means to be human. So my definition of what exactly does it mean to be human? To be human means that you're able to gather data from life's experiences by way of your sensors. I call them sensors, you call them senses. Your sense of sight, smell, taste, your ability to hear, touch with your skin, and feel as a result of the processing going on in your nervous system. While functioning in the freedom that allows you to merge the emotional experiences with your feelings for cognitive, critical thinking skills to produce understanding and ethical behaviors, making the world a better place. So I want you to think for a minute. Ooh, it is so hot out here. What type of experiences have you had in your lifetime that were dehumanizing? And you may say, I haven't had any dehumanizing experiences. And that's okay. It's better than okay. It's actually good. But I want you to think for a moment, what type of dehumanizing experiences have your parents had? And you may say the same thing. They haven't had any. Or maybe you're just not aware of it. But I want you to go back another generation. I want you to think about your grandparents and your great-grandparents. I want you to think about what type of dehumanizing experiences have they had. As you can clearly see, I'm an African-American woman. And when I go back to my parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents, when I get to my grandparents, I'm confident they weren't slaves. But I'm also confident that they were raised by parents that were navigating the world that was that were navigating the world after slavery had been abolished, after they ended slavery. And I know for a fact that my great-grandparents and every generation that came before them, they were literally surviving in a world where they were probably living in experiences that were slavery. They were still probably living in a world, some of them, where slavery was abolished, but even once it was abolished, they were still creating laws and different ways that they could still allow slavery to take place, even though they had abolished it. And when I think about the experiences that they had, that they endured, and how dehumanizing it was, it allows me to clearly see that these are dehumanizing experiences. These experiences have stripped them, have robbed them, have conditioned them to believe that this is normal. This is just the way things are. And they lived in a world where it wasn't okay. They lived in a world where it wasn't safe. And I really need you to understand that they lived in a world where it was not safe to feel pain. And you may be watching this, and maybe you're not African American. Maybe you are a Caucasian woman or a Caucasian male. Maybe your bloodline, maybe the people from your bloodline, the people that preceded you, maybe your ancestors were slave masters. And I know that's not a pleasant thought, but the truth is what the truth is. To be a slave master is also a dehumanizing experience. In order to treat somebody so cruelly for any period of time, especially for the period of time that they did, it is a dehumanizing experience. You have to condition yourself to believe things that are not true in order to continue doing the things you're doing. And maybe slavery or being a slave master is not in your bloodline. Maybe your parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, maybe they are first-generation immigrants. Maybe they were people that survived the Holocaust. There are so many different experiences. Maybe they fought in World War I or World War II. Both are dehumanizing experiences. And I'm bringing this up to you because it's so important that we give real thought and consideration to the experiences that our ancestors had and understand how it impacted them, because they were born into a world and raised in a world where they did not have the luxuries that we have today, meaning they didn't have access to the internet. They didn't have the ability to share and get information from a phone at their fingertips by just pushing certain buttons and going to certain websites. They shared information by writing letters. They shared information by having conversations when it was safe. And I'm bringing this to your attention because if your great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, grandparents, parents survived these things and didn't have the luxuries we have today, that means it's very likely that they didn't do their healing work. And if they didn't do their healing work, that means that it gets passed on to you. And it keeps getting passed on until somebody steps up and says, I'm going to take full responsibility for the pain that now lives in me, and I'm going to heal so it doesn't get passed on to my children, to another generation. It's so easy to play a blame game of, this is not my fault, I didn't do this. And it's true, it's not your fault. But if we're being honest, it's really not your parents' fault, and it's not the fault of others that have come before them. And if you spend all of your time searching for who to blame, you'll miss the real critical opportunity that you have before you, which is the opportunity to heal, which is the opportunity to transform the pain that has been silently traveling in your family from one generation to the next, because nobody will talk about it. Nobody will deal with it. You're missing the opportunity to transform that pain into what will transform your family, what will leave a legacy of love. Many of us are leaving legacies of pain. And some of you may think, oh, we don't have a legacy of pain. Me and my family, we are wealthy, we are rich. And I don't know a nicer way to tell you this, but pain has nothing to do with your financial status. Leaving a legacy of love has nothing to do with financial status. Your mental and emotional well-being has nothing to do with your financial status. If that were to be true, then there would not be millionaires and billionaires that have committed suicide. Your mental and emotional well-being are critical. They are critical for you to be able to raise healthy, emotionally safe children and to really create that legacy of love that you want in your family. To raise children that don't feel like, I can't wait until I turn 18 so I can move out of here because I hate it here. To raise children, ooh, it's so hot out here. My goodness, the sun is roasting. To raise children, woo, it's hot. To raise children that desire to spend time with you once they become adults. So I wanted to come on here and share with you what it means to dehumanize somebody so that you can understand what it means, how it has impacted the generations that came before you, and how it will continue to impact you and future generations if you don't take this opportunity to heal, to transform that pain into, ooh, my goodness, to power that allows you to operate in the freedom, and your children to operate in the freedom that allows you to operate in the fullness of what it means to be a human. And I want to read this definition to you again of what it means to be a human. What exactly does it mean to be human? To be a human means that you are able to gather data from life's experiences by way of your sensors while functioning in the freedom that allows you to merge the emotional data, your feelings, with cognitive, critical thinking skills for processing and understanding to produce ethical behaviors, making the world a better place. And that's what you're able to do when you are able to be in healthy relationship with your feelings and emotions, because you have done the necessary work to heal. When you heal, there is a frequency of love that flows through your heart, which is on the cover of my book. There's a heart with a pulse, and in the pulse is the word love, because that's how healthy, emotionally, mentally healthy human beings operate. There is a pulse, a frequency of love running through their heart. And you'll know because they have characteristics that are being demonstrated that are characteristics of love, like correction, protection, forgiveness, endurance, compassion, empathy, honor, trust, selflessness. Oh, there's two more. I'm not remembering them right now, but these are characteristics of love. And when you are healthy emotionally, that's the way you're going to operate. You are going to have a frequency of love radiating in your heart that will allow you to operate in the characteristics of love and how you treat yourself and how you treat others. And as a result of it, you will become a person that is making the world a better place, because you are making the changes in you that help to make the world a better place, one person at a time. I hope that something in this video resonated with you. I hope that you'll take anything that resonated with you, and I hope you'll go and do additional research. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I want to say this to you at the end of this video. I don't really want anybody to ever come and watch my content and take anything that I say and make it the gospel, or just take it and run with it. Not because I don't believe in what I'm saying. I believe in what I'm saying a lot, deeply. But I want you to get into the habit of confirming what it is that you hear me and other people say, especially on this internet, on the internet, in books, in person, in real life. I want you to get into the habit of confirming for yourself that the information you have received is valid, is true. I want you to get into the habit of doing critical thinking for yourself and not just believing that whatever you've heard is the truth because so and so said it. They're credible, they're famous, they're well known. All humans are flawed, myself included. So I want to close this out by encouraging you to take anything that you've heard here that you believe to be true, that resonated with you, that you sense or perceive to be truth, and I want to encourage you to go and do your own research so that you can get to a place where you don't believe it's true, you know it's true. And on that note, I'll talk to you in the next video.